I'm Rosco, and thanks for joining us live on YouTube, live on Facebook. And if you're watching on catch up a bit later on, thanks for joining us for another big night of EV deals, data, and discovery. And another huge night tonight. Not one, but two guests. One from the UK and one joining us from Melbourne tonight. So we've got Gill Nowell joining us. She wears many hats in the UK over there. She's going to give us an update of some of the policies, some of the direction of what's going on over in the UK. Maybe we can learn something here in Australia. She was also the instigator of Global Women in EV Day, which is coming up early next year. And she's also director of the Electric Vehicle Association over in the UK as well. So can't wait to hear what she's got to add, because there's a lot of things going on over there as they find their way through policy, growing sales in the EVs, but probably a couple of years in front of Australia in some ways, especially in used EVs. And of course, tonight's brought to you by Amazing EV, our own very own Amazing EV, our very own EV Marketplace. But let's start off before Gill joins us. She's on the line now from the UK. Before we start off, we'll just dig into a little bit of EV news, and a few joining us already. Say hello to Joe, say hello to Murray. Stan, thanks for joining us. Mrs. Amazing's there too. But wanted to jump straight in because the EV van market is hotting up already. And is it a van or is it a car? The new van just launched in the last couple of weeks from Photon. Again, another new brand, another van, another 50 grand van. We're getting plenty of commercials now coming through with the PV5, Farazon, all sorts of around the 50 grand mark. There's going to be plenty of competition here. This one from BAIC, you may or not have heard of them. That's Beijing Automotive. They help Mercedes make vehicles in China. So they've been around a long time. You may or may not have heard of them. Photon Motors is one of their brands. This one here, again, pretty boxy, pretty unstylish, but that's all you need with a van. Basic features, basic style, and just a good price for tradies. I think this is just the start of something that's going to really start to boom, I reckon, here. We're going to see a lot more of things like this around the 50K mark. We've had a few a bit more expensive, but I think there's going to be some pretty hot competition. And another new one coming out. Again, this one I think is coming through Inchcape. Someone check that for me. I can't remember who's importing this one. But again, another new van, another new brand. We had Forthing last week. We got Photon this week. They just keep on coming. And, well, more news again as they still keep coming. And more news again as they still keep coming. The new brands, Chang'an, are heading to Australia. Of course, you might remember Chang'an is bringing out Deepal, which, again, Inchcape had distribution of here in Australia. But now Car Expert have picked up on an article. They're advertising in LinkedIn, and their Chang'an directly are looking to set up under their own name here. And for those of you, Joe, you've seen them around. The Avatar brand is their premium luxury brand in China. So they look like they're coming here as well. Inchcape are going to keep Chang'an, which is done, going to keep Deepal, which is done okay, but hasn't shot the lights out yet. But Chang'an look like they're coming under their own steam as their own brand, and they're bringing Avatar, their luxury brand Avatar as well. We are spoiled for choice. And you might remember another very popular association joint venture. Chang'an are also making the Mazda CX-E. The 6E is already out, sedan style, but this one looks very nice. 60 grand drive away for the base model of the Mazda made by Chang'an. This is starting to get fairly stylish, I reckon. This one looks pretty good. Again, hopefully some of these brands, even if they've got Chinese associations, hopefully some of these brands are going to bring some cars. Subaru have just been out recently with their models, starting to look good. This one, that's a looker for me. I saw that at the Beijing Auto Show earlier in the year. This is good. This is on sale, taking deliveries or taking reservations in Australia already at 60 odd grand. So starting to like some of that action from Mazda, liking what's happening from Subaru. plenty more brands. If we thought the Chinese brands had finished coming, if we thought the Chinese brands had finished coming, they haven't finished yet. We've still got more to come. Chang'an are bringing theirs. There's more vans to come, and I don't know how many we can take here, but bring them on as far as I'm concerned. Give the customers some choice, give them some competition. But let's head over to Europe now. Jill's waiting on the line. She's all set to go, so we'll see her in just a moment. Hey Jill, welcome to EV Markeplace on a Wednesday night.
Hi, Rosco. Wow, what a video to show there. I feel like I should be wearing my running kit.
That one I stole off LinkedIn when you launched your latest venture, which we'll have a chat about later on. So you look pretty excited at that stage. That must have been a big day for you. But let's come back to that, because you wear quite a few hats. And I want to try and introduce you to our guests here in Australia. Whereabouts are you based in the UK for a start?
Yeah, so thanks, Roscoe, and I'm so pleased to join you today. So I'm based in between Chester and Liverpool, so in the northwest of England.
How's EV penetration roughly up that way? I hear a bit of north to south action, bit of a difference between north and south. What's the story up north?
Yeah, I mean, overall in the UK, it's, we're looking at 1 in 4 new cars sold now. New cars registered are all electric. And I think there's probably pretty much the same story where I am as well. You can't drive around without seeing any number of electric cars, any number of chargers. So yeah, it's a pretty positive story here in the UK at the moment.
And we asked you to come on, and I thank Mrs. Amazing for organising, coordinating, and reaching out, because she first started to see your activity on LinkedIn through your initiatives with the Global Women in EV Day, which is early next year, which we'll touch on a bit later on. One exciting thing, but also the English Electric Vehicle Association, which you're a director of as well. Representative of English EV drivers, putting policy and opinion through to government, which is very important at this stage as you've been through quite a few ups and downs, flip-flops back and forwards through numerous governments. But let's leave that to one side, and we'll come back to that. Where did your EV journey start? What was your EV aha moment yourself?
Yeah, so it was back in 2012, and thanks to the work I was doing at the time, which was looking at the impact of clusters of electric cars on the local electricity network, and we trialled a very, very early form of smart charging way back then. But my aha moment was essentially when I sat in a very early model Nissan Leaf. I said to the person next to me, "How do you turn this thing on?" They said, "Jill, it is on." I was like, oh, wow. And then I put my foot down and I was off. And I was smitten from that moment on, Roscoe. It took me a few years to get into my own electric car, which was a second-hand Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
But wow, I've essentially been driving and enjoying electric vehicles since 2012.
We've had a few listeners and viewers and guests with Nissan Leafs, and they're still really popular here, all the generations through. People are keeping them going, replacing batteries, all sorts of things. I'm just trying to get some audio. My mic is a bit low. I'm just trying to get my audio sorted out. But Mrs. Amazing, just check with that. I've just turned it up. Let me know if that's better now, if you can. But otherwise, we'll persevere. So I think
Perfect,
everyone
yeah.
can hear you, but they can't hear me, which is not a bad thing. So that's fine. But when did you buy your first Nissan Leaf?
Yeah, I think it was about 2018. So yeah, found a great deal with thanks to somebody I knew in the industry, Matt Cleaveley, shout out, fabulous person and company there. But and it was fine because I love the story of the Nissan Leaf, because I remember back in maybe 2013, and the range increased from 75 miles to 85 miles. And we all got so excited. We thought, this is it. But, you look for, fast forward to today, and what the average range of electric cars are, 250 miles on a single charge. So it's phenomenal. And actually, I was at Formula E in
Yeah.
London at the weekend, and I saw the very latest Nissan Leaf. And the range of that is way, I think, in advance of 300 miles. And it's just, it's got all the tech, it's
Yeah.
got vehicle to load, it's really sophisticated. And, in a relatively few short years, we've seen the technology just go from strength to strength. We don't have to worry about
Yeah.
range anymore. There is choice out there as well.
Mm.
And of course, I love the secondhand market for EVs as well. And we're seeing all these amazing cars now drop into the secondhand market. So you can get an absolute bargain here in the
Yeah.
UK at the moment.
I was going to say, so you went to, I'm a big fan of that what do they call it? The Formula E as well. I'm a big fan of that as well. And that was that last event was in London. You managed to get and go and have a look, yeah.
Yeah, I was invited. I was so fortunate. So felt so lucky. Really, we went courtesy of Mahindra Racing. So we
Yeah.
met the team, we met the drivers, we went down into the garages. Yeah. So, but it's and we heard from the CEO of Formula E, Jeff Dodds,
Mm.
who said basically, he has people say to him, "Oh, but can't you add some noise? Come on, add some noise." And his response is actually, "You're asking me to take a step back in time."
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the EVs that have got a engine noise built into them at all. It doesn't resonate with me. It's not something that I want in a car, and I'm happy that my EV is as quiet as possible. So yeah, it's not something I'm desirous of either. So I'm just going to check with the crowd to see if my audio is any better. Apparently, I'm pretty quiet. We'll just stop for 1 second. Um, Phone on TV, low on phone. Okay. Well, I'll just ask Mrs. Amazing how now. Now, my apologies, but all right, we'll push on regardless, like every good show. But what else have you driven? I saw a picture of you with a Tesla Model S, and again, fantastic car. So,
This was I had the opportunity to live with this Tesla Model S for a week. It's 10 years old, had about 250,000 miles on the clock, 87%
mm,
usable battery
that's
capacity.
great.
So you still have a real world range of about 220 miles out of
Yeah,
this vehicle. And oh my gosh, so comfortable to drive. It's unbelievable.
yeah,
And I just had such respect for it. As one of the early EVs that really kind of set the tone for innovation and technology development.
yeah,
It's incredible. And I think it's now that we are seeing this real world data come through, we know that we do not have to worry about battery degradation.
yeah,
I have a Kia e-Niro. It's coming up to its sixth birthday in
yeah,
September. And it has discernible battery degradation,
yeah,
and I think as well the benefit now for the used market is that
yeah,
you can get a test, you can get a battery
yeah,
test,
exactly.
and that will fill consumers with confidence. So I'm not sure really that many barriers
Yeah,
remain, many really viable barriers remain to just getting an EV.
yeah. That's the great thing about. I think I was having a chat to some people the other day, and I said everything we expected has turned out probably better than we thought. Everyone took a lot of risks and probably were very optimistic about what was going on 3 or 4 years ago, what was
Yeah,
expected. New brands, new cars, new technology, charging batteries, and just about everything has turned out even better than we even could possibly have imagined in terms of reliability in
yeah,
most cases, battery life, all sorts of things have been much, much better. So yeah, it's given me confidence to stay, particularly in the used market. And I'm glad to hear your experiences as the used market in the UK is a little bit further advanced than it is here. A few more models, more European orientation models as well. We probably had Tesla, bit of Polestar, bit of BYD, but haven't had all those European models that you've had some different experiences with. So it's it is normally a situation here where we're a lot of new brands and a lot of new anticipation, but everything's working out much better than we expected. So glad to hear the same sort of experiences from the UK as well. And again,
yeah,
going back, this looks like you're doing some yoga in the back of a in the back of a van. It's found a very
yeah, yeah.
zen like place. And again, I was talking about the vans earlier. and we're starting to see them really come through at really affordable prices here. Mm.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan of electric vans as well. I've kind of lived with a few electric vans over the years for periods of time, and this is the Kia PV5 cargo van that I had the pleasure of having for a week very recently, actually. And it's just the range is fantastic. Oh gosh, is it 220, 250 miles, something like that? Real world. It has vehicle to load.
Yeah,
Hence, you can see I've plugged a lamp in here just to demonstrate that. But for people, for tradespeople who are using this on a day-to-day
yeah.
basis, well, they can just power up their tools.
Mm.
And there's a passenger version of this as well, for the domestic market.
Yeah.
So you can take it camping. I've used vehicle to load, not with this PV5 cargo van, but on a Genesis GV60. um, I've plugged in my lawnmower, you know, so which I love because I didn't have to have the hassle of getting the extension lead out. I think the technology is amazing, and these vehicles. So this Kia PV5 van, it has plug and charge capability as well.
Mm.
So again, the technology
Yeah.
is absolutely incredible.
No, that's brilliant. And then we're just starting to get those here as well. So again, that's some early interest in that's been really popular. So great to hear your experiences. How long has that been on the market over there for?
Oh my gosh, what 6 months or so,
Okay. We're just starting to
something
get it
like
here. We're just starting to get it here. So we're a little bit behind on those. Again, UK being a lot more van oriented market for tradespeople than we're more ute market. So we haven't had the wave
that.
of utes yet, but they're coming as well. The pickup truck style, they're on their way. But yeah, the UK being a bit more van oriented, that's for sure. So the our viewers can't hear me as well as they can hear you, unfortunately. But anyway, we'll persevere. So they don't need to hear the questions; they can hear the questions from when you answer. But we're going to get a little bit tougher now, down to some bit more nitty gritty of what's going on in the UK. Because like anything, if we had some clear direction, even if the rules aren't as fair as we'd like them, if we just had some clear and consistent direction in government policy, then we've
Mm.
got something to all aim for, and we're all going to probably end up and exceed it anyway. But in the UK, it has been more of a tough situation. And you are director of the not the Carvin, the EVA in England. So tell us a bit more about that. Mm.
Yeah, so I'm a co-founding director of Electric Vehicle Association England, and we set ourselves up as a community interest company through lockdown. So we've been going since 2020.
Yeah,
Um, and EVA England is essentially it's an independent membership organisation representing EV drivers in England.
yeah,
So we are the voice
yeah,
of electric vehicle drivers and prospective EV drivers in England. So we bring real world driver experience into conversations, across government, policymakers, and industry, and of course take a very strong
yeah,
lobbying and advocacy role. But I suppose a few numbers are worth knowing to kind of set the scene
yeah,
here. So here in the UK, battery electric vehicles accounted for 25%. So one in four of all cars sold in the first half of 2026 were all electric.
yeah,
And I think in June, the share of all electric vehicles reached 30%. We've got, 1.8, something like that, 1.8 EVs on the road, and that's an increase of over 30% from last year.
yeah,
So the trajectory in terms of EV uptake is really, really strong.
yeah.
But you are so right in what you say,
Mm.
Roscoe, in that consistency and clarity in terms of policy is so key,
Yeah,
because we need that to give investors confidence, to give the public confidence.
yeah,
But we are seeing some flip flop around some policies here. For example, the zero emission vehicle
yeah,
mandate. And this is in spite of the fact that actually we are on track to meet the targets this year. So it's so and yeah, and here we go.
yeah.
Um,
We just got the
You know,
targets of what they've expected for you've got the zero emission mandate, and we've had a question about paying per mile, so like a road user tax. We'll come back and address that in a minute as well. But as we cover off the targets, which your zero emission policies, which have changed and been refined and are trying to involve industry players. And we're not trying to simplify this. We know that there's manufacturers in Europe and the UK have a lot more vested interest in without a manufacturing interest in industry here in Australia. So, but yeah, if you can talk to the targets that were there.
yeah, sure. So for this year for cars, the target is 33%. So that means that 33% of a manufacturer's total new vehicle sales have to be electric, and for vans, it's 24%. Actually, with the flexibilities that are built into the zero emission vehicle mandate, those flexibilities mean that the UK's car industry is actually on track to comply with the mandate for the third year running. So the case for actually weakening
Yeah,
the ZEV mandate is pretty weak.
yeah,
Um, I would suggest, and again, it comes back down to that consistency.
yeah,
And flip flopping, I don't think it does anybody any favors whatsoever.
no,
And actually, if you look at the worst case scenario, um, then that would mean that almost 6 million fewer electric vehicles would be on our roads here in the UK. And which would mean, in terms of running costs,
yeah,
British families would kind of be subject to over £20 billion extra
yeah,
in running costs. So, I know personally, as an EV driver for many years, I'm saving easily £1,000 a year,
exactly. I know.
which pays for my family holidays. So
Yeah.
in very simple terms. So yeah, I think we need to be strong on this one.
We've had, and again, that shows the targets, and we're up to about 2026, and it's been on track. It's going to need a steep rise, but yeah, here's sales detail in a little bit too much detail, but again, trending up nicely and doing well. It's a lot stronger than Australia. Australia's really only bounced up from 7 or 8% late last year to 25% middle of this year after the war, well, whatever you call it, this petrol spike. And I guess a lot of people we've spoken to here also, similar sort of situation, have jumped the fence and finally gone for it on a cost-based issue, seeing the price of petrol. So again, I did doing some research. There's another review. They're asking for submissions. The government, in their latest form in the UK, are asking submissions again for another review. And without going through this in detail, again, as Gill said, they're on track, but they're looking they're asking people to put submissions in, and the request for submissions is 90 pages long. And I don't know how many reviews you've seen, and they're putting forward 4 different proposals to refine this policy again. So, yeah, are we moving in the right direction, Gill, here or not?
I think that sales are moving in the right direction, and that's the irony here,
Yeah,
isn't it? And again, when you talk to people who already own an EV and live with an EV, well over 90% of those people would never go back to an
yeah,
internal combustion engine. So we need to make sure that the policies that underpin
yeah,
that uptake remain strong and remain on track.
yeah. Well, good luck with that round of review. No doubt the EVA will be putting in a submission again to try and
We
keep things on track. I don't want to diminish how important it is to the manufacturers, to the European manufacturers, to all the parties. A lot more complicated than it is here by any matter of means. But from what you say, it looks like you're on track already. And so to steer away and refine something that looks like it's on track, yeah, it would be disappointing to say the least, wouldn't it?
Yeah, indeed, and it's probably just quickly worth mentioning the charging industry
Yeah,
as well here, because actually the EV charging industry is a substantial economic opportunity for
yeah,
the UK, and some recent work that was done on behalf of Charge UK, which is the industry
yeah,
body that represents the public charging industry here, found that the economic value from EV charging by
yeah,
2035 is well over £15 billion. and that's looking at creating 36,000 jobs, for example. So it's not straightforward, and again, we need that consistent policy, and we just need to hold firm.
So thanks for fighting the good fight there, and we'll bounce to a much more exciting opportunity that you're involved in. Tell me more about this.
Global Women in EV Day. So we launched Global Women in EV Day on 10th of February this year. And I say here, as you can see, I don't think women have an EV problem. I think the EV sector has a representation problem. And this is so true because women remain underrepresented across leadership, operational and frontline roles across the e-mobility industry. So Global Women in EV Day exists to empower women, to celebrate women, and really to shine a light on the challenges that really do exist here in the UK, and it may be very similar with you in Australia, Rosco. 49% of all driving licenses are held by women. So we really should be building the infrastructure. We should be building the vehicles with women represented. So because more diverse teams lead to better business decisions, lead to better business outcomes. If I could just very quickly let you know why the 10th of February, because I think this is really pertinent. So I wanted to choose a date with meaning. And the 10th of February, 1883, is the birth date of an amazing woman called Edith Clarke, whose work literally underpinned the foundations of the electricity network, or the smart grid. So she was an electrical engineer, and yet she probably has never been that visible. And I think this speaks to the challenge we have, because visibility creates opportunity. So one of the things we're doing through Global Women in EV Day is that we've recently launched the first edition of our Global Women in EV speaker directory. This is open to women across the globe. The idea being that, so often I have heard when presented with an all-male panel, for example, "Oh, but Gill, we couldn't find a man to speak. We couldn't find a woman to speak." Well, actually, now we have a speaker directory full of incredible women across the industry who are ready and who are willing to bring a more diverse perspective to industry conversations. So, yeah.
That's a brilliant initiative. So, no doubt you're at the coalface in. Well, I don't like to use fire or coal analogies in the electric vehicle conferences. You're not at the coalface, and there's no fireside chats. But no doubt you're there when these panels are put together, and that's a good opportunity to represent your new business because you were put in I read you were put in a situation a year ago where you had to find something else to do, and hence
yes, hosted by Gill.
Gill was born. Your own
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, indeed. And just very quickly going back to Global Women in EV Day, because Amazing EV, you are a founding member. So thank you so much for that, a founding partner. But yes, hosted by Gill. So I set up the business well over a year ago now, and I was kind of doing it as a bit of a sideline because I love bringing people and conversations together across the industry. But really, yes, spurred on around this time last year, I had the opportunity to really kind of take this forward full time. So I curate events, I host panels, I speak, I interview, I do podcasts and so on, all this kind of really great stuff, always making sure that, of course, diverse voices are included in all the work I do. And I suppose, to summarize what Hosted by Gill is all about, I connect people, ideas, opportunities across clean transport and energy.
Brilliant. And you can find Gill on LinkedIn, and she's already been nominated for an award already. So congratulations on that. It's just really nice to bring people together in this industry. Again, there's still a lot of work to be done for all the 25% who bought. There's still a lot of people that haven't. So really excited by the work you're doing. And on the EVA, with the awards next year and your own business. Really appreciate it. And thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully come back. Maybe once they've got this policy, well, it might take them a year or two to actually consider all the submissions. Is there a timetable for that review?
Yes, there is. It's quite short for actually submitting the the responses. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Rosco, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks. Apologies, guys. I'm having audio problems. I'm yelling here. We'll go to an ad break. I'll see if I can fix that, and we'll come back in the second half and see if we can't sort that out. Thanks for persevering. All right, we're back. Let me know if that audio is better. I think the cleaner must have come in overnight and turned my volume down, but we are back, and I'm going to go back to the first part of the news again because that interested me, and I think that it might interest you guys as well. I think we'll go back to the very first part of my news and recap there. How's that? Much better now? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for persevering, and thanks very much to Jill. You heard from the right side of the conversation. What I said didn't matter too much. Really appreciate her bringing us her insights about the UK market, which is all over the place. Just hope that Australia doesn't end up with policies flip-flopping like they have over there, especially when they've been doing so well in terms of sales on the new and the used car side of things as well. But I was fascinated that there is another new brand and another van coming to Australia around about the 50K mark. Is it a car? Is it a van? It's the Carvan, and this one from BAIC from Beijing. I think, Joe, let me know, Joe, have you seen this one in China yet? I don't know. This is bizarre. It's no word about that, but this is a Photon brand, one of BAIC's Beijing auto brands. Again, pretty fridge-like on wheels, but that's all it needs to be. Totally utilitarian. That's about all you need these days from a van. And about the time we had some more 50K, 45K vans, there's not much to them. And I'm amazed there's 70 or 80 that a Volkswagen Transport or a Hiace can command now. But these are absolutely amazing, the pricing. And I think this is going to be the future. All they need to do is 250Ks. All they need to do is 250, 300Ks for delivery drivers around town, and it shouldn't be a problem. So here's another one. The brands keep coming. And this news I covered just a bit earlier as well. Chang'an car expert report Chang'an are heading to Australia. There's some jobs advertised in LinkedIn, and looks like they are coming in their own right. And at the moment, they've got Deepal here, which is being distributed by Inchcape. But Joe says here, Photon has heaps of ICE vehicles, but never seen that logo before. You know, they do a bit of logo changing, Joe. Hunter, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Can anyone just confirm that my Mrs. Amazing has confirmed my volume is great again? Good to see that there's another new brand, and Chang'an are coming on their own right. And I think, again, there's a few fans that have been to China and seen Avatar as a brand. Looks like they're bringing that their luxury brand as well. So Chang'an are coming under their own steam. They're bringing Avatar, and the models and the brands just keep on coming. Of course, Chang'an makes the Mazda, and that's coming to Australia as well. That's on the website. I like this one. I like the style of it. The CX, is it the CX E6, CX6E? 60 odd grand drive away for the base model. That's almost better value than the petrol Mazda. This is pretty cool looking car. I saw this at the Beijing Auto Show earlier, and I really like this one. So looking forward to this one coming. Can't wait. More brands coming, more cars coming. Finally, the Japanese, even if they're joint venture with Chinese, are getting their act together. But like, I like this one. That's a good looking car. And again, that's at 60 grand drive away. That's got to be cheaper than the ICE car. So absolutely remarkable. But before our next guest, let me just lead in with a feature at Amazing EV. We had this BMW iX1, and again, we're getting back to the Europeans. BMW are probably doing the best of the Europeans here. Other smaller Europeans we might not see, but Mercedes, Audi, BMW, look, no doubt BMW are doing the best. They've had 25% new EV penetration for 2 or 3 years now, and this one maybe because it looks like a regular EV, a regular BMW. It's got that pretty traditional BMW style, no doubt about it. And we've got this one for sale, just over 60 grand. This is a nice entry into the BMW lineup, if you like. But we couldn't help ourselves because, of course, the new iX3 is out now, the Neue Klasse. And we went out and found someone and spoke to someone a couple of days ago. And I caught up with him earlier this week, Tim. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's on TV as well, and he's just bought a BMW iX3. So settle in for this chat. Tim, good to see you. Thanks for good to see you, and thanks for joining us on EV Markeplace on a Wednesday night. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been watching you for ages, and it's I'm really honoured to be asked to be on.
Thanks, Tim. Give a quick plug for your YouTube channel before we get stuck into it. First, you've been doing YouTube for a long time. That's how we met. So.
Yes, I've been doing YouTube for a while. I actually started off doing as most Asians do, food and travel. But last November I started chemo, so I wasn't allowed to leave the country, and I kind of thought I'm going to pivot to my second love, which is automobiles, driving cars, and I'm actually quite surprised how that's taken off.
That's good. Yeah, Tim, have a look at Tim's channel. Tim eats and travels and drives EVs now. But but you just bought a brand new BMW electric one. There's only one that we're talking about. And well, let's have a look at it first. Let's have a look at the day you took delivery, which wasn't that long ago, right? And tell me what you bought.
No. Well, I got myself a brand new 2026 iX350 Neue Klasse. It's seriously such a spectacular vehicle. It's everything I wanted in an EV and more.
It is a beautiful car. Yeah. I mean, it has polarized a few people. If you've got a few comments about its looks already. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of BMW purists will absolutely hate this new design language, but for me, it was love at first sight. I love the look of the legacy 1960 BMWs, the ones that actually defined the brand and saved BMW.
Exactly.
And I'm genuinely so happy that they've actually gone back to that design, and that iconic kidney grille, the narrow kidney grille's back I think BMW for a few generations, in my personal opinion, and I'm probably going to get hate for this, I'll get BMW cancelled. But I felt that maybe they went slightly OTT with
Yeah.
their over exaggerated grills.
Yeah.
Pretty much what the other German
Mm.
brand is currently doing with their new GLC 400s,
Yeah.
which I feel is a bit maybe
Yeah.
too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got it right on this one. I like it too, and it looks like it's the shape of things to come for some of the other ones as well. But we'll get to that a bit later on, because this is your first EV, and what was your EV aha moment? When did it first start to make sense, right?
Oh, well, I think with one of your previous people in your shows actually said the exact reason when I had that aha moment was when premium unleaded hit $2.60 here in Melbourne, and I was driving a BMW G60, a 5 Series,
Yeah.
and that only takes premium. And whilst it's not a huge guzzler, it wasn't. It was quite thirsty,
Yeah.
and I kind of thought to myself, you know what? If ever I needed an excuse to jump the EV fence, that was it. And I
And
think it's just going to get worse,
yeah, the
and it
uncertainty,
hasn't improved.
and we've had a few people on the show this year already taking advantage. That's been the tipping point for them. Unbelievable. They had some curiosity. They were interested in EVs, but yeah, that was really the tipping point. I had a look at your BMW 5 Series, and it was the new shape, right? And I almost thought it was
Yes.
an EV. I almost mistook it for the EV. Were you tempted by the EV when you bought that one only a couple of years ago?
Yes. So when actually, I bought that literally 2 months after I got back from my wedding when in Scotland, and I had this stunning, seriously stunning Mercedes
Hmm.
E-Class, and it's just such a beautiful car to drive.
Yeah.
I actually came back thinking I'm going to jump the fence and get myself a Merc.
Yeah.
But they didn't have that model in Australia at that point. So I went back to BMW, and I fell in love instantly
Yeah.
with the G60, with that the 5 Series shape.
Yeah.
The i5 hadn't been released at that point.
Okay.
Um, had it been available,
Yeah.
I possibly would have considered it, but I think the
Yeah.
payoff was that it didn't have the range I wanted.
Yeah.
In my mind, I had this imaginary, probably unrealistic um, point where I felt that if the car and the range met my expectations, then I would get it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I needed a car at least 650 Ks,
Yeah.
at least. And the i5 really, realistically, wasn't able to
Yeah.
meet those kind of expectations. So I was happy to stick with internal combustion. I've been an internal combustion lover my whole life, like most people, most of your viewers as well.
Yeah.
And for the first time, this iX3 Neue Klasse actually exceeded my minimum threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it's a good looking car. Did you? Yeah. Was it love at first sight?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, truthfully, when I walked into the dealership, I was looking at the iX,
Yeah. Okay.
um, and you know, I did all my research on the iX, and I went in there and I wanted to go for a test drive. And my dealer, who I actually bought my G60 from,
Yeah.
actually says, "Tim, I've got a very interesting proposition for you." Yes, exactly. And it was only a week and a half before I walked in the dealership door that they released,
Yeah.
they had the big road show in Melbourne. And he says, "Tim, the iX3 has just been released. And I want to talk to you about it." It would have been in his interest,
Yeah.
best interest, for me to walk out the iX. He would have got more commission for it.
Yeah.
He probably would have been able to get older stock off the
Yeah.
showroom. But I really trust my dealer. I bought another car from him before, and after the fact that knowing that he looks after me,
Yeah.
I would continually go back to him because I trust him.
And,
But yeah, I
and
walked in there for the iX, and I walked out with an iX3.
and this is not being sponsored by BMW or the dealer. I don't know to BMW. I'm not being paid. Tim, you bought it yourself, didn't you? You didn't. They didn't.
I bought it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sponsored, nothing at all.
Yeah.
I just love BMW. Um, I paid for it out of my own cash. Actual cash. I didn't get a novated lease. There's no agreement between me and
Yeah.
BMW. I just love their cars.
And you're happy to mention which dealership it was?
Yes, of course. I bought my iX3 and my G60 from
Yeah.
Waverley BMW in Glen Waverley.
In Melbourne, in Australia, for anyone watching overseas. I'm amazed.
Yes.
I'm amazed that they came to Australia so quickly. There's a couple of things for anyone watching overseas. Tim will back me up here. They came much faster than I expected. I thought they were selling so well overseas, and we're right-hand drive here, but I thought they were selling so well overseas. It'll take 6 months into the year before they get here.
I ordered my car on the 30th of March and I had to wait till the 30th of July to receive it. And that's the longest I've ever done. I've never bought a car unsighted and no test drive ever in my life before. It's the most impulsive thing I've ever done, but I signed on the dotted line. I needed it.
That's pretty quick for even for by. But I'm amazed they came as quickly and they were taking orders that early. And check out the retail prices here in Australia because I think we're getting a pretty good deal as we do with a lot of your overseas cars. I think it's not a bad deal. I'm not going to name prices here because they vary from state to state, but yeah, I think it was pretty well priced overall, considering the BMW range and some of the competition, particularly compared to the iX, which is still pretty expensive straight off the floor, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the iX is a premium car.
Yeah.
Not that the iX3 isn't, but the iX3 is effectively 3 Series, so you have to understand that there are going to be, you know, gaps, differences between that and the iX, which is their flagship
Yeah.
till the iX5 comes in. But the iX is significantly dearer vehicle.
Yours is a nice car. So we're about to have a look, and I've seen them on the road. Also, I've seen about half a dozen on the road in Sydney. Here, you're in Melbourne, I'm in Sydney, and I've seen a half a dozen. That's a sign that they're going out quickly, and they're bigger. They're big car. The frunk is maybe surprised. We'll get to some more details about what you like, and having a frunk for a start is a bonus. I think a lot of these cars haven't. So
Well, coming from an ICE, and we don't have frunks. Oh, sorry, as BMW, they don't like calling it frunks. It's a front boot.
front boot or
Front boot.
fruit or fruit.
Fruit. I think I've called it a fruit before, and most people just scratch their heads. But it's tiny. It's not that big. It's
Okay.
what 58 liters, so it's
Okay.
actually not that big. But it has the tire repair kit. It's
Yeah.
got the multi function charger, and a
Yeah.
short, I think 5 or 6 meter Type 2 charging cable, and that's all. It's perfect. The only gap, I just wish it was like the Mercedes, where you can actually touch the actual roundel and it'll just pop it. I still have to do the double pull from within the cabin. I just wish they just.
It'd be nice if it was electric or electric button. And Tesla, which I've got, is just big enough. It's not that practical, but I keep all my camera stuff in there and a jacket and bits and pieces. So all my camera gear is just in the front of the car. Don't tell anyone in case they steal it. But then I've got my camera gear always will be tripods, all the junk, and that's just the camera spot. So it seems to be
Well,
okay.
at least you have this. Yeah, at least you have sentry mode on your Tesla. If anyone tries to steal anything, we don't have anything like that in BMW.
They've taken a radical new approach to this. There's some pretty interesting features on the inside. Did this again? Did you like all this, or was the bits and pieces you weren't so happy with?
Firstly, that free cut, almost hexagonal screen, I liked it. Because it didn't look like your bog standard rectangular monitor. This would not be a cheap technology to make, and believe it or not, it was designed perfectly because the steering wheel isn't round, and it isn't rectangular. It's like
a elliptoid, it's a
elliptoid.
Squirrel,
Squirrel. That's right. It's a squirrel shape. So the way the end on the left-hand side of the steering wheel kind of just sits flush with that angled free cut screen, and I think it's been designed with typical German perfection. Is the perfect angle where you can actually see the entire screen.
Something different, and then you can just see a couple of the lights up on the top of the dashboard to the right of the image there, and there's some smaller indicators and signals up there just below the windscreen, there as well.
Yes, that's a 48-inch pillar-to-pillar panoramic vision screen. It is stunning. Like, I know in this image it's not really a clear, you don't get clear perception of it, or even if you've watched YouTube videos on it, it doesn't actually give you how amazing it really is.
Yeah.
It is stunning when you're in there, sitting in that seat, or even in the front passenger seat. That panoramic screen is stunning. It's actually revolutionized my expectations when it comes to not just the instrument cluster, but display of information.
So,
I think it's wonderful.
So a big step up forward from even the 5 Series, which was only a 5-year-old car, really, as well.
Oh yeah, significant step up. I don't think I could ever get another car without a panoramic screen. That's how much it's affected me.
I'm a screen guy. Bring all the screens on. Here you are. You look like you're sitting in the cockpit of the Enterprise, right? It's like
as a tracker and a trackee is my perfect place. I love it.
Do you feel better sitting up higher than the 5 Series? It's sort of getting. I mean, we're all getting older, but not. I'm older than you, but I don't like getting down into a sedan anymore.
Well, it's my first SUV. I've only ever had hatchbacks or sedans or saloons in my entire driving life. So for me to step up to SUV, it was a welcome relief, because I can finally come up to the same height as everyone else, because everyone has SUVs these days, or massive four-wheel drives, and I'd always, they tower over me.
Here's a really good one of you just driving out of the dealership for the very first time. You look like you're shitting yourself.
I was shooting bricks because I was a little more cavalier with when I finally got a test drive of the iX3, because that's Waverley's car, not my car. But this was the first time driving my car. I didn't want to scratch it.
You did well. And speaking of scratches, you got home and you noticed, and then given that you had done a very detailed inspection of the car at the showroom, you were quite surprised when you got home to see a little bit of a scratch on the side of the door handle. What happened?
It wasn't a scratch. Turned out massive rookie mistake. It was a reflection.
You can see the background behind this in Tim's video. If you watch the full delivery video, we're laughing because he did a very detailed inspection at the time of delivery, and then came home and saw this scratch. Tried to rub it out for quite some time with the tried and true method, just your finger, which didn't work. And then it did until you pushed the door handle back in again, and it worked. It disappeared magically because it was just a shadow.
I actually had someone comment saying, "Tim, I've worked 25 years in media and camera, and I could have told you that was a reflection."
Yeah. And so have you, Tim, as well. For those of you who are recognizing Tim, he is on a fairly popular TV show on. If you can't figure it out, I'll leave you. You can try and work it out yourself. But most of you have probably watched it. Even those of you who said you don't watch it, you have probably watched it. So it's a guilty pleasure for many people. And that's where you can see Tim in his other job as well. Hey, I love the new BMW logo as well. And you do like the color of this car, and this is about as nice as it gets, right?
Oh, it's stunning. So my favorite color is green. And when I read that eucalyptus green was one of the choices I could have, I instantly chose it. But the thing is, it's not just green. It's depending on the angle and the lighting conditions. It's so very typically BMW. It changes color. It almost looks gray, but it's stunning in the sun, and it's stunning in the shade. And I think this new roundel just works perfectly with the car. Yeah, it's just beautiful, and it no longer has the inlaid chrome.
It's gone, but it harks back to the simple times. I mean, you can't we're not that old. We can get too romantic about this, but it does hark back to a simpler time of the original Neue Klasse, right? Without that chrome. It's just a slightly flatter, more simple design. I like it too. And I know you appreciate design. I appreciate it as well, and it is a good look. I like it a lot too. I'm going to play a video here of your feelings when you first discovered regen braking for the first time.
My God, the regeneration. Okay, this is car engineering
Now you
magic here.
watch videos
right?
for a living and comment.
One thing I've noticed when I'm driving and I come to an intersection, there are
Look
no
at
cars in front of
myself.
me. I lift my foot off the accelerator and it decelerates at a normal pace, and I have to then apply brakes to come to a halt at the intersection. However, coming up to this intersection, there are cars in front of me. I lifted my foot off completely off the accelerator, and the car slowed down magically so that it would come to the perfect resting position without me having to use the brakes. What witchcraft is this?
Oh my God, what a big drama queen there.
Solid gold entertainment. It's solid gold entertainment.
Look, we don't have regen. We don't have one pedal driving in ICE cars. So that was completely blowing to me. But having said that, though, I had a media loan car from Zika before. I had the 7X,
Yeah.
which is a stunning car. Had I not bought the BMW or been a BMW fanboy, I seriously would have considered the 7X performance, 100%. But the regen on that was very strong, and it didn't have this intelligent regen stop which the iX3 has. So for me, it was actually mind-blowing.
Yeah. It makes
I'm
a
sure
difference.
you've known about this for such a long time, being an EV driver. So this is something an ICE driver's just discovered as, wow.
And there's been a generation in between here without prattling on about it, which has been very solid, heavy regen. You have to really learn to fettle this accelerator to get the exact sort of stopping distance and performance that you want. But yeah, with BMW jumped all the way over that with this new tech, and they do all the hard work for you. So you get the best of regen, and you get the best of braking, and you stop exactly where you need to stop. And they do
Magic.
it for you. That's my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they call it the heart of joy.
Yeah.
So,
and it has given you a heart of joy.
absolutely. Oh, look, I work in marketing, and I would have absolutely coined that term myself.
Yeah, I know it's a beautiful marketing term, and looking at it has given you a heart of joy.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've noticed is that there's a bit of a theme starting here. Our guests last week from This Stellar Life, Adrian and Brandy, they didn't pay for the aftermarket ceramic coating on their JQ-J5, and you didn't either. So we're starting to get a little bit of a trend here, and I've got again a video here of what the process, because it is interesting. We'll get serious for a minute, and watch this, because it's not that hard, it's not that expensive, and to do the job yourself, it is a big difference between home and aftermarket from the dealership. And again, we're not bagging dealerships too much, but it is one of the things that people don't enjoy sometimes, that last step of the process, buying a car. But let's take a look at this. There's two things there. The car looks absolutely stunning in that shot. Even before you washed it, during you washed it, and after you washed it, that front of that car looked absolutely stunning. But
It really is.
was it as easy as you thought?
Oh, that's actually the second car I've ceramic coated. So I already knew the process, and truthfully, I would have actually added one extra step, but I didn't want to overly complicate such a brand new car. But I would have actually used the DA polisher and actually just polish the car a little bit more. I would have used a prep
Yeah.
to so that so it bonds better with the ceramic coating. But what this new line, a new generation of ceramic coating is that anyone at home can do it. It's
Yeah.
actually relatively easy. You don't need an incredibly specced up garage or sterile, well lit environment to do it. The product by NextGen, and once again, not sponsored. I paid for it myself out of my own pocket. I had nothing to do with them at all. I bought their products because I did my research. And their product is only a 12-month ceramic coating.
Yeah.
So this is, I suppose, the payoff.
Yeah.
If you don't have the inclination to do the ceramic coating yourself, or you want a 7-year or 10-year ceramic coating, definitely going through a dealership or an aftermarket ceramic coater is definitely the easiest route. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I love to wash my cars. I love to maintain my cars. I find, like, I remember growing up as a kid, I would do that with my dad every Sunday. And I find that I'm continuing that today.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy it. I love it. And I think it's a lot of people don't realize how easy it is.
Can you tell me how much that kit was?
It wasn't expensive. So I think the actual 365 Pro, off the top of my head, it was like $80 for the ceramic coating itself, along with a primer. But then, you need to buy the foam decon and the iron decon, especially if you've had your car for a little while.
Yeah.
One of the issues you have is you want to have as clean and as smooth a surface as possible. The foam decon, a contact wash will clean a lot out. But the things like iron filings and brake dust, which that just won't wash off. So you may need to use an iron decontaminant to remove that as well, or you need to polish that off. So I could actually get really detailed into this if you want me to bore your viewers.
If you've got the confidence, last week our guest had a $35,000 car. It's a gem. It's gold. It's a $200,000 car. They've got the confidence to do it inside and out. If you've got the confidence to do it on a brand new BMW and done it before, then
I did put down a few bucks for the iX3, but I felt confident in ceramic coating myself. And I suppose if you've never done it before, there is that risk. If you're risk averse, I'd go with an aftermarket supplier.
And what's your charging setup now that you've got an EV? How are you charging it?
Well, actually, the iX3 was actually the end of my electrification journey.
Yeah, okay.
I've had a solar array. I think it was only a 6.6 kilowatt solar array for many years, for over 10 years. And with everything that's happened, with fuel prices and everything and energy prices going up, I decided I need to really invest in the long-term electrification future. So I upgraded to a 13 kilowatt solar array. I installed a 41.9 kilowatt hour home battery. I installed a Zappy EV charger. I upgraded the power line, since unfortunately only single phase here. And the car was the last kind of a piece of the puzzle. And I did my research in terms of solar access. Oh, and also I don't have a garage, so I have a very long driveway. Yes. So the issue I have, and I don't trust humanity as a general rule. I worry that someone's going to drive into my driveway and plug their EV into my EV charger and steal my power. So one of the conditions of the EV charger was that it had to either have an RF card or it needed a code, and the Zappy charger did that for me perfectly.
Cool. Good thinking. Yeah, that's good. And just on that, the BMW has V2G V2 load as well, doesn't it? You can plug appliances into it.
You can indeed. Yeah, it does have V2L, and I believe in Europe it has V2G as well. Obviously, Zappy charger I have is not credited for V2G, so that's probably something I'll have to upgrade down the line.
But yeah, I do a lot of camping, so this car is going to come in handy. I can plug in my espresso machine or my Thermomix when I go camping.
It's been done. It's been done. But there's Vita barbecue as well, so that's all right.
Yeah,
Vita
exactly.
electric barbecue is a thing, but this has got a massive battery. How is it? Is it 100?
Yeah.
How big is the battery on this one?
Yeah, so the gross nominal is 115 kilowatt hours, but the usable is
5,
108.7.
108. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
it's a huge battery. It's
Yeah.
which is
And the
why it can do the
expected range.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, WLTP, take that with a grain of salt, is 805 kilometers.
Yeah.
Realistically, unrealistic.
Yeah.
I would take 15 to 20% off that.
Yeah.
Once again, it depends on how you drive. And I used to
Yeah.
be a lead foot, so I do like my quick pickups.
Yeah.
And also, I don't need to talk, tell you how EVs work, but and all your viewers will know this, but weather conditions, and all those kind of factors into the range.
Yeah, it was a big promise. I think maybe it was a response to some Chinese competition to try and say, "Hey, we're back, we're here." But yeah, realistically, again, it's probably not expected, is it, to get that sort of range? Is there
No.
anything else that you feel BMW could have done better, or you'd like to see a little bit different?
I think, as I said, the bonnet, the an electronic opening of that, so I can easily access the front. Front boot would be nice. I've also never had a car where there's a massive moonroof or sunroof
Yeah.
and not have a cover. So
Yeah.
I did initially question. I know they said that it's it filters 100% of UV and filters 80% of the heat, but I don't have a garage. My
Yeah.
car sits in the driveway. An Aussie summer, multiple days of high 30s, 40s. I don't know what the cabin temperature is going to be like. So for me, it would have been nice to have a cover.
If anyone's got some spare timber and some roof cladding in Melbourne and can help Tim build a pergola or just an awning,
Yes, please.
We'll see
Thank
that
you.
Saturday afternoon. No, it is a thing because the Tesla's the same. I don't leave it sitting in the sun of an afternoon because it heats up real fast, and mine's garaged, and I don't drive it in the heat if I can because of that. And otherwise, I've loved it, and I was reticent as well because I wouldn't have chosen that. Now I can't do without it. But yeah, yours living at home, yeah, it'll need a cover to stop that Melbourne summer sun, I think. Yeah, but
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
and I go camping a lot.
yeah,
So and I've got a dog.
yeah,
I would love to have camping mode,
yeah,
which surprisingly for a car of this value, that there isn't camping mode
yeah,
and there's no pet mode.
yeah.
That would have
Yeah.
been nice to
Here's a picture of Scottish wedding mode. All right.
have. Yes, I actually had. When I had this video up, the number of people who DM'd me saying, "How did you customize the
Yeah.
screen?" A lot of people had no idea you could do that.
You-
So
tech genius.
well, being Asian as well, I used to work in IT, so I love fiddling around.
We've got some friends from Hong Kong that got married in Scotland about 10 years ago as well. So,
Yeah,
so there you go. So yeah, it's a thing, and it's a beautiful thing. So, hey Tim, thanks very much for joining us. Look forward to catching up in another 6 months or so. You might BMW already pestering you about another one already. Yeah, they can't get you out of this one into the new one again, surely.
And I know I can't talk to you about this other one as yet.
I think I did see in one of your videos there is another EV in your driveway as well. Yeah, you both got one.
Oh no, unfortunately, that's a plug-in hybrid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry, we'll just bleep that. Bleep that. We've just taken it. We'll bleep that out as well. Okay, that's fine. If you want to catch Tim, he's at Tim Eats and Travels, and if you really want to catch him on TV, you can watch him on GoggleBox, of course. Thanks for joining us, Tim. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you can come back next time and give us an update on the BMW iX3. Love it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. See you in 6 months.
That was Tim, and we had a great chat the other night. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. He was a fantastic guy. lot of great stories about taking delivery of that car, the buying process, his setup, and what he's doing with it. So I look forward to catching up with him in a few months' time to see how that's going on the road. Thanks to Gill tonight. It was great to hear what's going on in the UK. It sounds like they're in for some more rough times over there. Look forward to her catching up with her a bit later on as well to see how she's going. Thanks, guys. Thanks for persevering. Really appreciate you hanging with us. Sorry about the audio problems earlier. We'll sort it out. We'll find out who was responsible, and we'll do nothing about it except fix it till next week. I'm Rosco, and we'll catch you next week.